The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results only from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Your success will depend on how well you exercise these qualities. For more information regarding coach earnings, please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Well, welcome everyone to the Habits of Health call. We are so happy that you're joining us. I am Amber Smithson, certified Optavia coach, and this call is for a lot of different types of people. So one, it could be for our Optavia clients, or two, it could be for our Optavia health coaches who are joining us tonight. Also, we have health professionals like doctors and nurses and chiropractors and in our health professional division of health coaches who love to join this call. And it's sometimes just people who are checking us out, people who are going, what's this Optavia all about? And so if you're in any of those categories, then we welcome you to the call and we're happy that you're here. So I already see the chat flying. We have people from all over the country joining us. I saw California and Texas and all kinds of different, Southern Pines, North Carolina. I love it. So we're just glad that that you're with us today. So we're going to go ahead and get going with our topic. And our topic is building new roads. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with my health? Well, we're talking about building new roads in our brain, and we'll explain a little bit more as we go along. But I love this quote, and it says, I always wonder why birds stay in the same place when they could fly anywhere on the earth. Then I ask myself the same question. We can do anything that we want on this earth. We can create anything we want, yet a lot of times we just stay in the same place. We stay stuck. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how our brains work a little bit. I mean, not too medical. I'm not a medical, brain doctor or anything. I just visit once a year. But we're going to be just giving you some ideas this way. So first off, you came to this call for some reason. Maybe your health coach sent you a link. Maybe you got it in an email. Maybe you get on these every single week. But no matter what, you came on for a reason. And I have some questions for you. Ask yourself these. Number one, what do you want? And this could be a question you can apply to your health. It could be a question you apply to your finances, your job, your family, your spirituality. There's so many different areas of our life that we all that we focus on from time to time. And then number two, why do you want it? If you just say that you want to be skinny, but you have no idea why, it really doesn't mean anything when it comes down to it. And then number three, how are you going to get it? And when you ask yourself these questions, then you're going to have a better idea of how to accomplish it. Okay, I see in the chat that somebody can't get their audio. Okay, they got it fixed. Awesome, I love it. Okay, I love this quote from Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn said, if you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary. And I think that this is especially, this applies especially to those of us who are trying to improve our health. Because I think of times when I'm talking to clients or I'm talking to fellow health coaches, or we just lump you all into one group and say fellow Optavians. because an Optavian is somebody who wants to focus on their healthy body, healthy mind, or healthy finances, which we call the Trilogy of optimal health. And sometimes when we're talking about it, we're talking about what we want, or those three questions. What do we want to create? Why do we want it? And how are we going to get it? Then we start going to this place where we go, oh, I just want to be normal, right? Okay, if you've ever said that, then just put a number 1 in the chat right now. I just want to go to the birthday party and eat the cake, and oh, I see some ones. Okay, I just want to, like be skinny and have all the ice cream I want. Or I don't know if this is resonating with anybody. I'm seeing a lot of ones in the chat, but sometimes we get these thoughts in our head that aren't the best thing for us. They don't benefit us. They don't propel us forward. And in that Jim Rohn quote, I'm going to bring it up one more time here. If you're not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary. So if you've ever said to yourself, boy, I just want to be normal. Well, I'll tell you what's normal right now in America, and really it's starting to creep into the entire world. It used to be obesity was more of a problem in our country. Now it's globesity. It's really starting to spread everywhere. If you want to just be normal, guess what? 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese. They're dealing with problems like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, hypertension, high cholesterol, all these things, metabolic syndrome, that are tied directly to being overweight and obese. Now, so do you really want to be normal? That's the question. Or do you want to be unusual, like that Jim Rohn quote? I'm going to throw it over. David, do you have any thoughts to add so far?
Yeah, I think that it really is kind of a wake-up call when we have to choose to be extraordinary rather than just kind of going with the flow and being ordinary, because it is somewhat of a challenge mentally when you have to choose different choices, and you're sometimes the odd one out when the rest of the family is eating and drinking and being merry, and you're in a position where you're making choices to be extraordinary. But the word extraordinary, actually, I know the definition. In Merriam-Webster's dictionary, there's 2 definitions. And the first definition is to go above and beyond what's usual, regular, and customary. And what we choose to do in getting healthier is just going a little bit above and beyond what the ordinary people are doing. And again, it's not to pass judgment on people that want to live an ordinary life, but if you want to live an extraordinary life, you got to go above and beyond what's usual, regular, and customary. And if you do that, you get the second definition, which is exceptional to a very marked extent. So you live an exceptional life to a very marked extent, but it's oftentimes not seen in the small little sacrifices or decisions that you choose to go without, or you choose to go for a walk when it's hot out and everybody else doesn't want to go do that. But because you choose to do that, you get an exceptional life or an extraordinary life. And I think that that's what everybody wants at the end of their life. They don't want to say, I lived an ordinary life. I want to live an extraordinary life, to whatever that means to that particular person.
I love that, David. The extraordinary, because it takes you from that mindset where you're like, I just want to be normal, to I don't want to be normal. And what is normal anyway, by the way? It's what do you want to create in your life? Don't set your standards on what everybody else is doing or what everybody else wants. Decide what you want. And like David said, it's not a judgment thing but decide what you want and go after it. So I love that. Okay, I'm going to keep going to my slideshow here. So going along with that, there's 2 more questions. 1, what are you willing to do to create what you want? And then 2, what are you willing to not do? Because there's 2 sides of this coin. What are you willing to do? So sometimes you have to choose that I'm going to get up and I'm going to exercise, or I'm going to go to bed earlier at night so I get my healthy sleep. I'm going to fill up my water bottle and carry it in my purse, even though it makes my purse weigh like 50 pounds, or whatever it is. And then what are you willing to not do? Are you willing to pass up maybe some of those extra treats that we think are only here and there, but end up being habits? Or I'm not going to stay up all night watching Netflix. I'm going to get out of my house. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of different things that you either do or not do. And this is why I love, in Dr. A's Habits of Health, we teach the structural tension chart. And if you, this can be found right in your book and your workbook, but if you want a copy of this, just ask your health coach, raise your hand, say, hey, I want a copy of that structural tension chart, and he or she can give this to you. But the cool thing about the structural tension is that there's a big arrow. There's a big arrow on here. So I want to explain the arrow. So sometimes when we just write goals, then, even maybe you write it down and they're SMART goals, and, they're, sustainable and measurable and attainable, and I don't know. Anyway, there's realistic, there's all these things. Time sensitive. Yep, Jan's like knocking words to me. But, and that's great. But if you don't know where you're at and where you want to go, if you don't have a clear vision of that, you will not have any tension. So the arrow. So just think about if you've ever shot a bow and arrow, or if you've seen somebody else. Okay, I'm the wolf Cub Scout leader in my area, and we're taking the little guys to this Jeremiah Johnson camp next week. And they do fun things like this. They shoot arrows, and they ride horses and paddle canoes, and they get all these badges, and it's great. So if you've ever seen somebody, maybe you see one little cute 8-year-old scouts, and they're they just pull back the arrow just a little bit and let it go. What happens? It goes, right? It goes 2 feet. And then you help them. You go, no, you gotta, okay, where do you want to shoot this arrow? Okay, I want to shoot it over there. Miss Smithson, I want to shoot it right over there on that target. Okay, you got to aim it, and you got to pull it back really far. You got to create what? Tension. You got to create tension. So you pull it back really far, and then you let it go. And how far does the arrow go? It goes a lot farther. Oh, good. David put a link. If you're on live, David just put a link to the structural tension chart right in the chat. There is some benefits of being on live, my friends. Yes. Good job, David. So that's what we're creating with this structural tension chart. We're creating the ability to go farther, to shoot that arrow. So if you know where you're at, your current reality, and sometimes current reality is an acquired taste, is what Dr. A always says. That sometimes you want to believe that you're doing a little better than you are, or I only have dessert once a month. Yeah. But when you food journal, it's okay, there's something every day going on. So you get that current reality really, really clear. And then you get that goal, that vision. And you attach the emotion to it. You go, what's that really going to mean? Why do I want that? Why is that going to be really cool to be healthier? What am I going to be able to do? I'm going to be able to be that mom who takes kids to the park and who runs around and who doesn't just say, let's watch a movie and stay in. Or you're going to be that grandma who gets on the bicycle and rides around with their grandkids rather than just videoing them from the sidelines. Or you're going to be that dad who goes out and throws the ball. Whatever it is, you're going to be able to get on that roller coaster because your health is so much better. And then those secondary choices, right in between, guess what those are? What am I willing to do? What am I willing to not do? And what am I going to continue doing that I'm already doing well? Okay, I'm going to throw it over to the panelists. Who has some ideas or some inspiration to share about structural tension?
I know that really when you can aim for something, I loved your arrow thing. When you're really aiming, even if it's just one thing, then it's doable. And that structural tension chart really changed me.
Awesome, Jan. I love that. The focus makes such a huge difference. That's such a good point. Who else has some input on structural tension? Go ahead, Cherry.
Another thing you can do is that you can, have several steps that are going to get you to your goal. And so it's kind of like when you take a trip, how you make your list of what you need to pack up. And what happens when you get down the road and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot the food, or, you know, I forgot this, then it, you know, it's kind of stressful when you're, you know, heading somewhere and you don't have all your tools. So I love the structural tension chart because it gives you an opportunity to put those steps into place that are going to get you there. And if you're not sure, check with your coach, and he or she will help you with those steps that are going to help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah, I would play on with that same analogy with the car, is that, you know, oftentimes when we have a specific goal that's a long-term goal, it can be out there in the distance. It can be like going from New York City to LA, you know, and that's a long trip. And there's oftentimes a lack of clarity. Can I make the trip? Is my vehicle, you know, equipped to actually take it that far? And there's just a lot of lack of belief sometimes. And it's just kind of like, I just need to start heading west. But oftentimes, if people don't know what city they're going to, and they don't know all the benefits of getting to California or a specific address in California, they can get distracted and they can take detours. And not to say that we can't have little detours and still get to our destination, but I found that the longer it takes for a person to get to where they want to go, the lower the chances are that they're going to get there. So if they take the time, like Stephen Covey said, you know, sometimes you got to take a few steps back to really get some momentum and get to where you want to go. And he oftentimes would say, begin with an end in mind. And so if you take a few steps back and may slow down your pace a little bit by clarifying where you want to go and why you want to go there, it will speed up your journey, and you'll have less detours and less flat tires and, you know, less derailments, if you will, from people that get you to go in the opposite direction.
I love that, David. And that brings us to the next point, is micro habits. So right in that structural tension chart, you're going to start small. So this is why our 5-in-1 program is so amazing. If you haven't heard of this, you can talk to your health coach or talk to the person who invited you on this call. But having those baby steps to help, that anybody can do it. Anybody can be in charge of one meal a day. They're lean and green. Anybody can get that. Even if you got it, I got a client, he's my cousin. He is just so adorable. And he buys his lean and green at Chick-fil-A every single day. And I'm like, you're pretty boring. But you know what? He's doing great. He's getting healthy. He's protecting his lean muscle, and he likes Chick-fil-A, and they have grilled chicken and salad. So there you go. So it's one of those things that you just start small. And what some people often do is they are going on their journey. They're going along. Maybe you've already lost 20 pounds. And you're like, man, I'm looking good, but you still have like 30 to go. Has this ever happened to anybody? And you start going, oh boy, this wouldn't matter if I, you know, have some brownie, or if I have, not the Optavia brownie, but you know, the birthday party ice cream, whatever it is, you're like, oh, I deserve it. Or so you start, this is what happens to your tension. You're having the 8-year-old scout tension right now, and your arrow's like, right? That's not what we want. So when you get a hold of one of the micro habits and you're doing well, you're like killing it. Like we start you with your fuelings and your lean and green, you're killing it, and you're getting like, oh yeah, I can conquer the world. And then all of a sudden you're feeling better. Like you're not as tired. Like you actually feel pretty good on your 5-in-1. And this is your warning sign. This is your red lights, like time to set a new goal. Okay, get focused on that vision. Add something else. Maybe you're ready to add an exercise. Maybe you're ready to start doing, you know, de-stressing and meditation or whatever it is. Like you got to get that arrow back again, because it's really common. You feel great. You want to keep going forward. Okay, so it's not what you say out of your mouth that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the most power. That's Robert Kiyosaki quote. And I want to talk a little bit about internal dialogue. And I like to call this ID, because ID is another thing that stands for what? Identity. So isn't it interesting that your internal dialogue, the words that you say in your head, they really start defining who you are. So I say know the different voices. Because isn't it true that so many times we hear a voice in our head that says something like, oh, you can't do that, or who are you to be healthy, or oh, you think you're an exerciser, or all these voices that start swirling around in our heads, and it starts determining who you think you are at the core. But you know who you are at the core? Whoever you decide that you are. You are the boss of you. So it was funny, I was talking to a client once, and I was like, she was saying how, oh, my husband, and he doesn't like lean greens, and all my kids, and they want me to make goodies, and like all this stuff. People at work having free pizza parties, and I was like, who's the boss of you? And she's like, what? And I was like, who's the boss of you? She was like, you? I was like, no. Like, you're the boss of you. You decide. And that's how it is. So that internal dialogue, that identity, start noticing it. Start becoming mindful. This is why we want you to journal. You got that cool journal that came in your Optavia guide? Write down some of those thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. A thought is just a thought. Dave Blanchard talks about this in his book, that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just thoughts. So when you start identifying them and you start thinking about, okay, where's this coming from? Know the different voices. It might be from your mom growing up. It could be good or bad. I got some moms on here. You guys are going to want to stay at the end of this for our Trilogy presentation. It's featuring mothers and daughters because it's Women's Week. That's what I was told. But it may be from your mom. Maybe your mom brought you up and you have great internal dialogue that you're worth it and you can accomplish anything you want. And food is fuel. Maybe your mom brought you up like that. Maybe your mom brought you up that we should diet because only people will like us if we're thin. Or maybe you were brought up, and it's not just moms, by the way, moms are great. Maybe you were brought up that, I don't know, to think a certain way about money, or to think a certain way about the weather. I mean, everything is swirling around. And expectations, I put this on here because I always like to say, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you expect. So, okay, I want to take a quick pause. Does anybody have something that they want to share on this front?
Yeah, I'll jump in really quick and just talk about just the whole concept of beliefs. And this is something that's just become very powerful for me. And so if you write out the words beliefs, or write out the word beliefs, BELIFS, right in the very middle of the word is the word lie. And oftentimes what we have been told by the media or maybe by family members and friends has oftentimes been a lie. And why we get on these calls and why we really encourage people to go through the Habits of Health book and workbook is because this is truth. This is science. This is actually teaching you healthy habits that actually create optimal health and well-being in your life. And if you understand truth, you can, outpace the lies that maybe you have bought into, because that's what was normal or ordinary, like we talked about earlier. So really what we're doing is developing a healthier mind is learning truth. And, they say truth will set you free. And oftentimes those lies have put us in bondage of unhealthy lifestyles or unhealthy habits. And we can break those behavioral change by just changing the ID or the inner dialogue.
I love that. Okay, we're just having so much fun. It always goes faster than I think it will. So let's talk about building new roads. So you are one road away from having everything that you want, and another road and another road. You can create new neural pathways. And this is the cool thing, because who are we at the core is we are our brains. We are these neural pathways. We are our habits. And so I like to just explain this real quick. So we have dendrites that receive information to collect for cell messages, and axons send out the message of the cell, and then electrical becomes chemical, and you have these little roads, and the roads that go through your brain, and that's our habits, and that's our beliefs, and that's the things that drive us. And there's so many people who think, however I was born, like, that's what I have, like, that's it. Like, hopefully I was born with the right things. But really, science shows that you can create new neural pathways. They used to believe, oh, your brain only develops until a certain age and then it stops. But new science shows that that is not true. And I love that because it opens up so many new things. Like if you think, boy, I'm not very good at public speaking, or that scares me to death. Like I would rather die than speak in public. Not me, but I used to be like that actually. And really, you just don't have that road yet. You don't have that pathway that goes from here to public speaking person in your brain, but it's there. You just need an axon that is connecting it. And that is done by lots of different ways. So one of them, I want to talk about this concept called the RAS, reticular activating system. Now, have you ever like gotten a new car, or not even new, but new to you? Like maybe you got this Fiesta and it's blue. I love this color, by the way. I totally want a colorful car. But so you start seeing these blue cars or these Fiestas on the road everywhere you go. Like you're like, I didn't even know that other people had this car, and now I see it everywhere. Does that ever happen to you? Like put in the chat if that has ever happened to you, where it's all of a sudden you started seeing all the same car that you just got, whether it was new or used. It's so true. This is called your reticular activating system. Now that you have focus on something, then your brain's job, the reticular activating system, its job is to go out and find evidence and to find things that support what you believe. So, are you having the reticular activating system work for you or against you? Because when you choose to make conscious changes to your thoughts, emotions, actions, so this is like you choose to start being healthier, you choose to start making lean and green instead of pizza for dinner. Well, of course, cauliflower pizza, that's okay. But then your brain's job is to, first of all, find evidence of that. If you're like, I've made the decision, like I'm firm, but if you're on a diet, quote unquote, if you're just like, well, I hope this works out, but boy, I've just failed every single time in the past, guess what your RAS's job is to do? It's to prove you right. So it'll automatically reject ideas that are new or it has no evidence for it. So how do we use this for our gain rather than against us? We want our reticular activating system to start working for us. So this is a fun way to build new roads. So I like my clients to make a vision board and to start really getting clear of what they want to create. And then start looking for examples consciously, because you have to do it consciously before it becomes subconscious. So start looking, like Kim Fisk, one of the health coaches that works with us, she would say, boy, I want to become a runner. And so she would leave her shoes out by the bed and be like, trip over them all the time. Boy, I'm such a runner. I'm always tripping over my shoes. And then she sees a runner on the road. She'd go, look, she's just like me. Like, and then she joined a Facebook group for runners, and she would go running. And you know, you have to help your brain along. So help it to know, this is what I am, this is what I'm creating in my life. And you know, talk to people about the things that you're creating. Oh, look, that restaurant, it has lean and green. That's just like what I make at home all the time. Or that's a restaurant for me. Boy, that's my restaurant, it has healthy foods. Start associating yourself with these things rather than like, oh, I can't wait to get off my diet. You guys feel the difference between those two things? It's night and day. So your internal dialogue becomes your external dialogue. Your thoughts become your actions. So start being very conscious of what you're creating there. Okay, we are about out of time, you guys. I had like 5 more slides, but we're just having way too much fun. Does anybody else have any last words before we go into our next segment?
I'm going to leave it to the ladies here because I know that you guys have a lot to talk about, but I love the presentation and I'm so glad we got a chance to talk about this because healthy mind dictates a healthy body. And so if you're trying to grind it out on the 5 and 1, and if you keep telling yourself, I know what I need to do, I just need to do it, you don't know what you don't know, right? So keep plugging into these Habits of Health calls. But thanks for having me on as a panelist. And I hope that everybody sticks around for this second session because you're going to really be blown away by it.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Okay, that is it for our Habits of Health call, but don't leave now. We are going to give you guys a fun, awesome presentation. We have some mother-daughter duos, and I'm going to get my PowerPoint up here before we get going. So just give me a second. All right. Are you guys seeing that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it, my panelists. Good. Okay, awesome. All right. Hey, welcome to the Trilogy presentation. So tonight we are featuring mother-daughter duos, including my mom, Cherry Severson, and we also have Jan and Michelle McMullen. And we are just so excited to talk a little bit about what it means to pay it forward. And I love this quote, Mom, you must have a green thumb because I grew up so well. So Mom, say hello.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me okay, sis?
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. And then Jan and Michelle, come off mute real quick and say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Awesome. Michelle, can we see you? Can we hear you?
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Yay, everyone's sound is working. Awesome. So we just finished up Mother's Day, and I know this is true for me. I got it from my mama. So everything I learned from my mama, that's for sure. But I'm excited to have several, of us on here to tell you a little bit more about health coaching because it's such a wonderful thing in our lives. And here's some mother-daughter pictures that we take this every single year. So this is me and my mom, Cherry, and then Chantel Flake and her mom, Mindy Sumption. And it's so fun, you guys, to be able to do this business with family. Every event we go to is like family reunion, and it's just more quality time, and it's fun to spend together. And it's fun to be part of something that's bigger than ourselves. It's fun to be part of a mission. And Optavia's mission is about getting America healthy and then the world. And one thing that I love is the story of how it all started. And Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson is our medical director and co-founder of Optavia. And I love that he was a critical care physician and just top of his class. He was the 10th board certified critical care physician in the world, or in the country, my bad. And he would be helping people would be coming into his ER, he'd patch them up and then he'd send them on their way. And that's great. And you know what? We are so lucky to have some of the most skilled doctors in the world, in our country. But I'll tell you what, is he felt like, am I really making a difference for people and for their health? Or am I just patching them up and sending them out, but they're still sick? So he really wanted to move upstream. He wanted to start helping people create health in their life instead of react to disease. And so he quit his job. He was like the guy, okay? He was like the top of the hospital, and everybody respected him. And he quit his job, and he drove across country with his wife and his 2 beautiful young daughters at the time. And he partnered up with our parent company and said, let's do something that's really going to make a difference for people. And he had this vision. He's a visionary. And his wife, Lori, who recently passed away, who was a really good friend of mine, she supported him the whole way. She was actually the very first health coach in Optavia. When they started, she interviewed every single client who came through our doors. And that was just, it was amazing that together they were creating something just really, really awesome. So this has always been a family-based business. And we're all about lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And I love that we have 4 components to our system, because if you only take one of these, it really doesn't work. It's like if you have a chair and you only have one leg, you can balance it for a while, but you're going to get tired. If you're trying to just do it, if you're trying to just diet or change, exercise more or change your eating habits, it's not going to work. You need to have all 4 components to have that lifelong transformation. So I'm going to throw it over to Jan to share her story and to tell us a little bit more about some of these components.
Oh, it's really humbling just to be with you, Amber. You're always so inspirational. But of course, being with my daughter and another mom, yay, it is just a great thing, because I hope I can give just a little bit of hope what coaching can do for people. I mean, the healthy body, I dropped 80 pounds. Oh my goodness, I have collarbones. I've got gap between my legs. Oh, well. And that was just amazing to me, because 40 years ago, I gained weight after college 45 years ago, and I couldn't lose it. 40 years of struggling and dying in those diet things. And then my sweet daughter just started bringing in health coaching and helping people in her clinic. And I knocked on her door and said, help, help. I raised my hand and those 80 pounds came off. But it wasn't that convinced me so much about the health coaching as the education program that Dr. Anderson put together. It is so powerful. And as a retired teacher, I tuned right in. Oh my goodness, finally, all in one place. The truth is there, and you could use it as a resource. But what you spoke about, Amber, about internal dialogue during the habits of health, that was me. I was not mentally capable to move on. I thought I was too old. I can't do technology. I haven't upgraded my computer in 15 years. I can't even be a coach. I did not start coaching for a year. I would just say, go see my daughter. Just go see my daughter when they would ask me about my transformation. But when you have confidence getting built, and when you have a whole team of support, like you were talking, those pillars, you're standing on firm ground. You're not falling down in the muck and mire if you really integrate into all 4. And all of a sudden, I started doing my structural attention charts, and I started growing. And of course, some of those fears went away. They're just faults. And I was creating those new pathways you were talking about, and I started coaching. And since then, it's been such a joy to help other people, coaches on my team, a family that I just want to help my daughter. So be a coach. I'll help you through it. And to see that daughter drop 78 pounds before she got married. And then it wasn't just that daughter, it was another daughter. And then it was her husband. And then it was the sister-in-law and the sisters and the brother-in-law and the sister-in-law's sister. And you just see that way that this business can help change lives and just ripple out, all from Dr. Anderson having that vision. So my biggest hint, keep that vision in front of you so you know what you want, so you can change your pathways, and then integrate so that you can stay out of the muck and mire. Hang on to your coach, get into the community, get to convention, and stick tight with the education system. And of course, your fuelings. Keep yourself healthy. Woo! It's awesome. But I owe it all to my daughter, Michelle.
I love that, Jan. It's amazing how the changes that we can make, it's not just about us. It starts becoming generational. Like, how is this going to affect not just me, but my children and my grandchildren and the aunts and uncles and the people and your neighbors and your friends and people go to church with you. And it's amazing, just the snowball effect. And I love that your daughter was your coach. And a coach is someone who, they care about you. It's one-on-one support. This isn't an 800 operator person. Somebody who's really with you, and they're on the road too. no matter if they're at their goal weight or they still have 80 pounds to lose, they're on the road, because in Optavia, we're all on the road, and they guide you towards their healthy habits. They don't have to be an expert. I don't know how many pounds down Michelle was when she started. Michelle, you want to pipe in?
Yeah, I was, when I started coaching, I was about 3 days into program. So I only weighed in after my first week. So I can't exactly tell you how many pounds down I was by day 3 when I started.
I love it. You don't have to be at your goal weight to do this. You just have to care about people, right? And I love how Jan talked about the habits of health, that we have a system. This isn't just guessing. This isn't just like, what article did the internet send me today about eating grapefruits, or you know what I mean? This is based on science, and we have the steps, and it's about small, consistent changes. It's not about uprooting your entire life in one day. It's one healthy habit at a time. So I'm going to bring Michelle back on, and I love this quote. "Well done, Mom. I'm awesome." And that totally is you, Michelle. So tell us your story.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. But that actually should say Michelle at the bottom under that quote, because that does totally sound like something I tell my mom, for sure. But so now obviously you can see, why she's just contagious to work with. I mean, in every way, shape, and form. So who wouldn't have a hard time coaching her? But I wish I could say that my story started off with me being inspired to help my family. But unfortunately, I really didn't, because imagine, I think that is a really hard dynamic, like you said. I mean, Mom does everything right. So how does a daughter tell Mom that, Mom, I think I found something that proves that you were completely wrong? And so that was a hard conversation to have, but I'm so thankful that inevitably that ripple effect is going to make that conversation happen. And I mean, fast forward, we were 260 pounds down in my family in a matter of 6 months. I mean, the years that we added to that. But my story actually started off with my patients. I'm a licensed physical therapist assistant, and most of my patients deserved better. A lot of the ones that I had like autoimmune diseases or just inflammatory diseases or, diabetic complications. I actually tried program for myself just to see if it would work for my patients. Truth be told, I feel like I was just doing a little test drive. So, just like every other thing in my life, I was pretty healthy overall. I ate organic and I was vegan for years. And so, I didn't think it would work, just like anything else didn't work. And I was blown the heck away. So I went a little nuts, totally, for sure. I'll admit it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm healing the world. I'm starting with these patients that totally need these because they need to be plugged in. And the biggest thing is to be able to plug people into not only some additional tools that I could provide to them as a coach, like Janet talked about, but also the tools of the education that people can take at their own pace, for sure, but to be able to plug people into a bigger community. It's not just your practitioner or your mom or your daughter telling you what to do. There's a whole lot of the rest of us that people can feel that togetherness, and people can feel that I don't need to be ashamed for what, I am. We're all on this journey, and look around, you can find somebody else that has it worse off than you, and we're still being overcomers. So that community was a huge component that I was able to offer my patients and eventually my family as well. But I will say the big eye opener for the community came even to me in the last 6 months of my life. I was coaching for 4 years, and it was a huge thing to be able to have access to them. But about 6 months ago, I ended up with a spinal injury, and my life got flipped upside down, and all of the side effects that come from treatments and the different things. I would have been a very discouraged person, and that community laid back into me. They offered me that support that I needed, that like, you will overcome these moments. Like, life is going to happen sometimes, even take you from the top to the bottom. And to be able to get that support in the local events and the community events and online with the different calls and that. I love our nutritionists. Oh my gosh, I don't have to be the person that has the answers all the time. I can go, let's put somebody in power here and let's get the nutritionist on the phone. So just the points of our community that we have, I've personally felt it and all of that. And then to the fact that you can take anybody in any place and offer them something with our feelings. Truthfully, you name pretty much anything that people are dealing with, their backgrounds or their pitfalls, we can offer them a solution and an answer to that pitfall. You don't have to feel like a failure, if you need a brownie a day, we can find a solution to that, you know, and you can overcome and retrain your whole system from the inside out with the proven science that has already been laid out there, instead of playing the guessing game that I got a meal plan from the guy next door. You know, let's do what we know has been proven for the last almost 40 years, and everybody that can go through it can really learn something about themselves, doing the normal healthy habit things, eating often, eating small and frequent, fueling and getting your water on point, and doing it. But if you're able to do it with that science and with that structure, I mean, it just adds that value to empower people, give them the tools that they need to succeed.
I love that, Michelle. I mean, the snowball effect in your family has just been huge. And I love how you talked about the community, that we have these calls every Wednesday, you guys, or we have playbacks if Wednesdays are terrible. I love that you can, if you're hopping on the treadmill or doing the dishes or folding laundry or driving to work or on the train, you can pop one of these in and you can bolster up your mindset. Yeah, I loved the nutrition support team. Oh my gosh. And the fuelings, it's such a no-brainer. You just eat 6 times a day and you drink some water and you're getting all the nutrition that you need. You're balancing your blood sugar. Your macros are balanced. You know, I have all these friends that were doing the Whole30 or I don't know, something. And they were like counting everything and they weren't allowed to eat anything. And most of them lasted like 3 days. So my friend Kat, she always jokes, it was the Whole3. She did the Whole3 because she lasted 3 days. But we had it, it's just like a no-brainer. It's goof proof. You cannot mess this up. You eat your fuelings, you eat your lean and green, it's science. And that's what I really love about it. And the fuelings are amazing. I love the probiotics, that we're healing your gut from the inside out, that we're really giving your body what it needs to increase your health, not just lose your weight. And that's huge. But I love that with Optavia, it's not just about our healthy body, like both Jan and Michelle already mentioned. It's about optimal health. That is our goal, is optimal health for every single person who comes into Optavia. And that includes healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances. We call this the Trilogy of optimal health. And if you break each one of these down, there's so many different aspects to it. With your healthy body, it's not just your healthy weight. In fact, that's probably just scratching the surface. It's, are you getting the physical activity that you need? Are you doing relaxation techniques? Do you love your job? Are you safe and healthy in your work and in your home? Are you getting healthy sleep? As Americans, how many times do you see that badge of honor that's like, I only sleep 5 hours a night, and the other guy's like, I only sleep 4.5, and it's not good for you, right? There's all these different aspects. Or a healthy mind. Are you fulfilled? Do you have time to do the hobbies and have some fun in your life? Are you involved in your community? Do you have spiritual time set aside? Do you have strong relationships? These are the types of mindset things that we focus on in Optavia, not just what should I eat and how much protein or fiber or whatever. And your healthy finances, if you think about it, how's your money management? Are you able to contribute to community things or to charities that are close and near and dear to your heart? Do you have resources to create memories and experiences with your family? Do you have that time freedom or abundance mindset, or even just savings? The average American has less than $1,000 in savings. And that can be really stressful. That can take a toll on your healthy mind. So if you think about it, a lot of these are interrelated. You can't just focus on one because the others affect. If you are stressed out of your mind and you hate your job and you're fighting with everybody in your life, that's probably going to affect your healthy body because your blood pressure is rising, your stress is going up. Maybe you react by eating emotionally or putting unhealthy things in your body. Or if your finances are suffering and you are struggling with money, maybe you're starting to go, well, I'll just grab this mac and cheese, or I'll grab any foods that are not as healthy for you. Or maybe you think, oh, I can't afford that gym membership, or you know what I mean? Like everything's interrelated with your health. If you're out of whack in one, then it's going to affect the others, which is why we really want people to focus on all three. And becoming a health coach is something that for me has really, it's taken my, I was able to step up to the next level in all three of these areas of health. So what could helping others look like for you? So I brought on my mama, Cherry Severson, certified Optavia coach, to share her story and to give us really how health coaching has affected her. And my mom is my health coach. And so she started coaching with Jan and Michelle. Michelle started coaching first and invited her mom. But in my situation, my mom started first and invited me. So Mom, are you there?
I'm there, Amber. Thank you for inviting me on. This is so fun to get together with the other moms and share how much Optavia has changed my life. A little over 10 years ago, I had just kind of been slowing down. My weight had kind of crept up on me. My clothes weren't fitting like they used to. And so I was looking for a solution. I tried dieting. I tried exercising. I wasn't finding any solution that was really making a difference for me. A friend did introduce me to Optavia, and she said, "Hey, you should check this out. You might even want to be a coach and help other people." And I said, "Well, tell me a little bit more about that." And she said, "Well, there's a couple things here. Maybe you could lose a little weight, maybe 10 pounds." And I've been trying to lose 10 pounds for 4 years. And she said, "It's a really fun community and you get more friends." I love friends. Hey, what's not to love about more friends? And she said, "And they pay you well." And I said, "Well, what does that mean? What does they pay you well look like?" And she said, "Well, let me kind of show you, what I've been doing." And I thought, I think I could do that. And I said, "But the one thing that I really need from you is, are you willing to help train me? Because I've tried some other deals before and didn't get any training and wasn't successful at all." So I was looking for that kind of commitment from someone who would, sponsor me and help me along the way. She said, "Of course, that's what we do in Optavia. We help each other out." And so I got on board and I lost 35 pounds. And what that gave me was, number one, more confidence. And it gave me an opportunity to share with others how this worked. And what I was also looking for was a way to have a retirement plan. My husband and I have been self-employed since we were first married. And sometimes in the past, we've used our business as our retirement plan, but that didn't really translate money in the bank. It was just like kind of on the come. So for me, I wanted to have a little more security in that area as a woman. If something happened to my husband, there was no way that I could run his business. So I needed something that I could understand. And this totally did that for me. Another thing that I love about Optavia is the opportunity to really work on my brain, work on personal development. There was really no reason for me to change how I was before. I was working in an office, kind of in the back of the business. And with Optavia, I really enjoyed learning how to listen better, how to be a better person, how to be a better friend, and how to be a better business woman so that I can pass those skills along. So I just love that Optavia has given me the opportunity to grow personally and to have now a retirement that I can count on. And so I can feel safe that I'm kind of a little bit more in control of my time. Whenever I want to go see Amber in Utah, I can go see her anytime. I'll just tell my husband, can you book me a flight? And we get her done.
I love that, Mom. It's so true. Mom comes and visits all the time, even though she lives in California. And where are you coming from right now, Mom?
Oh, I'm coming from Hawaii. We have a condo here. I don't know if you can see my little palm trees in the back. Anyway, we're at our condo. So I have the ocean across the street. That's
Isn't
where I'm
that
coming from
nice?
right now.
You can actually work from Hawaii or from Utah while you're visiting your grandkids, or when you're in California. You can work from anywhere with health coaching. And that's one thing that I love about it. I love that it's so flexible. And you can contact your health coach or the person who invited you on this call to get more information about specific earnings. But for me, here, let's see, these are out of order. Okay, so here's some pictures from my story. And one thing that I can say is I'm so grateful that my mom found Optavia 10 years ago. And I'm grateful that she had the courage to try something new, to put herself out there, to get herself healthy, because I watched her for over a year. I don't remember how long specifically, Mom, but what, 15 to 18 months? I don't know. I know I watched her for a long time before I decided to really look into becoming a health coach. And I had lost 35 pounds on my own before learning about Optavia. And I always joke, I'm like, you guys get to eat brownies? Like, what? When I lost my weight, I didn't eat a single brownie for like 7 months, you guys, not even one. And I just love this program. You can eat brownies and get healthy. But for me, I really was struggling financially. Our family was struggling financially. It was after 2008 when things were just going downhill for people. And my husband's business wasn't doing well. And we were struggling to really provide for our family. We were struggling to be able to make ends meet. When my mom would come and visit us in town, it was like, Mom, take us to Costco because we need some food in our cupboard. And it was really hard. It was stressful. It was hard on our bodies. My husband was struggling with all kinds of health issues. He was having chest pains. He had acid reflux. He had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and it was hard. It was hard in our marriage. It was hard in our family. And when we started coaching, my husband lost his last 25 pounds in just over a month, and we started having people become clients, and people were calling us on the phone, and they would say, Amber, I rode a bicycle. I haven't ridden a bicycle in 20 years. Or, oh my goodness, I'm down 25 pounds and I'm feeling amazing. And we were hearing all these things. And on the other side of it, Optavia was paying us. They were paying us to support people and to cheer them on. And it was helping us. It was helping us stay on our journey. And so my husband and I have been coaching for 9 years now, and really going from where we started, where we were bankrupt, we had unhealthy minds, we were victims and victim mentality. We just not a lot going for us. And then it's just a whole 180 shift being in Optavia the last 9 years. And one thing that I'll leave you with is just a little story about our family. And about 2 years ago, we found out that I had a brain tumor. And it was hard news to take because, we'd been working on our health. We were optimizing, we were exercising, we were eating right, we were getting our sleep and all these things. And then to hear that something's going wrong, that you have nothing, you had no control over it. It's one of those fluke things. And I'll tell you one thing is that having Optavia and the mindset training that I've had as a coach the last 9 years helped me to immediately, we call it below the line and above the line. So below the line is where you're a victim and where things are happening to you and, woe is me and I'm so sad, and to going above the line where I said, okay, what can I do? And whatever happens, then that's the plan. And I talked to my brain surgeon, who is in this right picture here at the doctor. They call him Dr. Dreamy, and Dr. Edwards. And he said, you know what? If you were my daughter, my wife, my mom, I would tell you to have brain surgery and soon. That your tumor's large and it's pushing on your optic nerve, and you could be blind within a couple of years. And I just got this peace that came over me that said, this is the right thing. And so we went ahead and we did the brain surgery. And just a month after, we got that diagnosis. And guess what? My mom had the time and the finances to come and help and to sit with me in the hospital. My husband had the time and the finances to be able to help me recover. You guys, I couldn't walk by myself. I couldn't work. I couldn't use the bathroom by myself. Like, I needed help all the time. And we didn't need to get any home hospice. My husband was able to help me with everything. He would take me for a walk and support me. And I laid in bed for over 2 months. And you know what? My clients, they didn't say, why aren't you calling me? I mean, my husband called them. But when he called them, you know what they would say? How's Amber doing? How's she recovering? How's it going? How are you holding up? What do you need help with? And that's our Optavia community. That's what it's about. It's about people who care about each other, and not just about losing some pounds, but really at just that base level. We're like family. And that's what I love about, especially when you become a coach, you guys, it's that much better. It's like it takes it just to the next level. And this is my beautiful family. I have 3 kids. My little girl's 11, and my boys are 14 and 17. And that's what lifelong transformation means to me. It's about being part of something bigger than myself. It's about my kids learning how to be healthy for the rest of their lives. It's about my mom being around as their grandmother. And that's where I want to leave you guys, is maybe this is something that's right for you. Maybe you're ready to extend your hand and get into your community and get into your family and make a difference that will be generational. And that's what Optavia is about. So talk to the person who invited you, talk to your health coach, and just look into a little bit more about what it means to pay it forward, what it could mean for you financially, mentally, and staying on track better with your own healthy body. So thanks so much, you guys. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Cherry, Mama, for coming on and sharing your hearts. I just so appreciate you. Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some Optavia coaches. Optavia makes no guarantees of financial success. Success with Optavia results only from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Your success will depend on how well you exercise these qualities. For more information regarding coach earnings, please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement. Yours in Health, the Optavia team.